Hello, and thank you so much for joining us this evening, probably into your next morning. I'm Kate. We've got Alex here. This is your AEW Rampage and WWE Smackdown post show for January 13th. How the heck are we in mid-January already, I say? But it's been a pretty uneventful week in wrestling, so I'm really glad to just come here and chill out. Definitely didn't do a 4-hour podcast on Tuesday about the Vince McMahon not news, kind of news, credible rumor news. I think is probably the best way to describe that. But please get in your super chats. Please get in your humper chats. We are also on Twitch at twitch.tv/FightfulGaming, though I'm seeing there might be like kind of funky things happening on that platform. So apologies for any technical issues with that. And oh my goodness, if there was ever a week to subscribe to Fightful Select, we've got very comprehensive updates from Sean Ross Sapp. There's a lot that comes into play with something like this, and everyone at Fightful, and Sean especially, takes great pride in our accuracy. We would rather be right above all else because you guys are paying for that news, darn it, and you should be able to trust us. But we do have as many updates as we can, as well as some other stuff coming out. The news of Jay White was supposed to be the big news of the week, right? We found out his New Japan contract is coming up, was likely going to WWE. I think a lot of people are hitting pause buttons on that for maybe a little bit, but a lot of stuff happening at Fightful Select. Also Select Portions, which is just a fun show that Sean puts together of things that might not be worth blowing out into a whole story, but things that he's heard, things he's seen. Our Q&As are over there. Coexisting with Rob and Maggie is over there. Tons of stuff on Fightful Select. Just $5 a month. Guys, crazy night. But in this chaotic week, a lot of really fun wrestling. A lot of great wrestling that happened tonight. Rampage, I thought, was a whole bunch of fun, but I'm an Eddie Kingston mark, so of course I did. And I love Willow so much. Happy to see that. Happy to see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in a really, really fun match with a rare DQ finish that I liked. But Alex, what did you think of the wrestling that we saw overall tonight?
Pretty damn good. I'll tell you about a little bit of a disconnect that I had with a certain person on the WWE side and whatnot. But there's always, listen, it could be great, but I want to let you know that I am not biased. I'll find things wrong with both.
You'll find. Well, and the other thing is, like, it's interesting right now because I feel like we're heading into Royal Rumble season and WrestleMania season, right? This, to me, I've said since the beginning, this to me is the test of a Triple H WWE. This coming up couple of months. He took over, right around SummerSlam last year. Now there's all this other chaos. So who the heck knows what we're even going to be saying next week. But at this moment in time, I've always said, like, the real test of where the main roster product is going to be at is I think Triple H will have had a couple of months to get his footing under his belt and kind of, there's not seasons in wrestling, but I think the most crucial time in WWE world is certainly the run from Rumble to Mania. Yeah. But I thought we had a lot of fun stuff tonight. I thought we had some not so great stuff as well, but we're going to get into all of that. Guys, let us know what you want to start with. If you want to talk Rampage or SmackDown, I think I'm going to lead off with SmackDown just because that main event was such a pivotal moment tonight. I thought it was really, really fun. We've got some chats coming in, but light up the chat and let me know where you want to start. If you guys want to talk about the main event of Rampage and everything that happened over there, we can do that too, but we're going to go through some chats like this, like from Kim Gray that says, this week has shown me so much, but most importantly, that Fightful has some amazing people with the biggest hearts. Love you, Kate. We love you too. We love all y'all. Thank you so much for sending in your support. And this week, I no offense to Jinder Mahal, but I don't think 45,000 people have turned into our NXT post show because of his return. I think it might have had more to do.
I thought it was him. That's why I was there, news. To be honest.
But this week it is funny, kind of like behind the scenes, whenever stuff like that happens, I'm always reminded, not that I ever don't appreciate it, but I'm reminded of people like Isberto, who's making our thumbnails, like Luis, who's moderating insane chats, like people who just because we're a team here, jump in last minute to help moderate or clean things up or whatever. So in addition to a chaotic news week and, Sean doing his job extremely well on the journalistic side, a lot of those behind the scenes things about our internal team always definitely like show up in my estimation, and doesn't happen without the support from you guys, man. Like it's really fun to get to do what we do, even on days where our NXT post show is thrown off until a 4-hour show where Sean ends up enjoying himself quite a bit on stream toward the end there. But so much to dive into with tonight. All right, the chat is saying Rampage, man. Maybe we will start with Rampage then. I'm fine with that. Yeah. I'm fine with that. We got some more just general love coming in, though. Orion Ben saying, hashtag Mirror Alex, hashtag Marathon Kate. Howdy, folks. Uncle howdy to you. Fun time. Yes, we are going to have a blast tonight. Always, it's fun. I love, it's doing shows with so many different hosts is always really fun. Like I get all these different perspectives every week. So I'm very excited to have Alex in a row for a couple of weeks here. It's a blast. But Andrew the Giant saying great night of wrestling plus Kate's favorite NXT wrestler won tonight on Level Up. Well, thank you for that information. I'm not as up to date with the Level Up product as maybe I should be. Matthew Plus chiming in with a disclaimer from Luis saying that this is extremely hateful. Katie, I'm visiting my grandpa and I showed him some of your show. I asked him what he thinks of it. He said he's jealous of my grandma. She's located in Wait, what's this? No, it says he thought you were astounding and beautiful and incredible and the most charismatic host in the history of pro wrestling podcasts. That's what I read. Thank you so much, Matthew Plus, for your incredibly kind words that I did not alter in any way, shape, or form. We've got a super chat that says Kate's husband. I'm not married, but if that's from Eddie Kingston, and he's just referring to himself that way, I'll take that. I'd honestly be more entertaining if instead of storylines, WWE just puts out their real life Succession storyline on air. Imagine Sami trying to be one of the McMahons. It's so funny. I feel like there's always as much interest in backstage drama as there probably is on-screen drama. And I find some of it really interesting, but in weeks like this week, I get so burnt out until a definitive sale happens. I'm just tired. You know what I mean? I'm getting close to the point, until CM Punk comes back or gets released, he's my favorite wrestler. I'm even kind of just all right, whatever.
I know. So much going on.
So relentless. So relentless. Mesoko sending in a humper chat saying, can I send a humper chat to both shows praising Impact while trashing other feds? I believe that you can. We do have an Impact Hard to Kill stream going on right now with the just one of the most special charismatic voices that's kind of emerging in wrestling, in my opinion. Cresta the Star is such a I don't want to say unique because I feel like the word unique is almost become trite at this point, but she's just a really warm, special, incredible energy paired with some really great analysis. And then, Joel's there or whatever, but also Steven Jensen tonight. No, I love Joel. Joel knows I love him. Steven Jensen as well. So they're holding it down on the Impact Fort. We have these streams going simultaneously. But yeah, feel free to check them out. You can send in chats to both programs at the same time. We got a lot of wrestling to cover tonight as a group, and more content coming for you tomorrow. But we are going to start off with what I thought was a really fun match with Darby Allin versus Juice Robinson, kicking it off for the TNT title. I feel like Darby Allin's best matches are the ones that are produced a little closer to stuff like we've been seeing of late, a little less of the fighting underneath stuff. I feel like Orange Cassidy did the same thing where it was matches were really good, but getting a little more formulaic than maybe they should. I was kind of expecting the same things out of each match. These past few Darby ones, basically since the Samoa Joe one till now, I feel like they've switched it up a little bit. they're getting a little more creative with how things are done. My favorite match of Darby Allin's was his versus MJF. I think that's my favorite of his, I would say. At Full Gear year before last. Just because it was like, yeah, he can wrestle. He can chain wrestle. Like, he can do really fun stuff in the ring. But I thought this was a whole heck of a lot of fun. Ultimately, we get Juice setting Darby up for an avalanche suplex, Darby countering with a scorpion death drop. And then the coffin drop for the successful retention. Really, really fun stuff. And I feel like people, if they aren't familiar with Juice Robertson, are getting introduced to him pretty well here, Alex.
Yeah, I like Juice, man. He looks like a superstar. He walked in there, like, you can see it, bro. Like, I hope that, you know, they continue bringing him in, because his matches are like, there is no misstep. And Darby is another one that when he's in the ring, you can tell that he is focused. There's rarely any missteps with anyone in the ring. Like, he all his matches are so well done with everyone he gets in there with. And they were hard hitting today, man. They beat the living, and I think Darby thrives on that. I think the harder you hit Darby, the faster and the more he'll involve himself into the match. So I think it was pretty good, man. He's putting some really good matches out there, and I hope they continue to treat him as the superstar that he is. He's, you know, and hopefully they give him something bigger and better as time progresses.
Yeah, I think it's so funny because other Alex, OG Alex, Pulowski,
OG Alex, yeah.
Sour Alex, he's kind of just over Darby. I think because some of the booking has run him into the ground, but I kind of love this style of, yes, Darby looks like he's 110 pounds, but if someone throws 110 pounds at you, that's going to hurt, right? If you're laying on the ground and somebody just throws a coffin drop of 110 pounds on you, that's going to hurt. So his commitment with his whole body is something that's really, really great. I think that's always been at the forefront. I think him mixing in a little bit more of traditional wrestling with that is a really special combination. Even things like today, I was like, man, when he puts a headlock in, like, he's got skinny little arms, but he locks in a headlock. And yes, and Juice was great tonight as well. It's been fun to see, like, Juice on my screen looking great. I think Mike Bennett last week with Darby, holy crap, that match was incredible. Like, and I think a lot of people respect and like Mike Bennett, but I think his physicality got to shine on another level. So,
well, you said it best. If you notice any of Darby's fights, he's already an underdog. He's already fighting from the ground up, right? So the only way that I know, like, if I'm a scrap fighter, is that I'm going to have to throw all of my weight and all of me in any way possible to put as much damage on you, you know, as I possibly can. And that's what Darby's doing. He's fighting from the ground up. And if once he hits you and once he gets you down, you notice he speeds up. He doesn't stop. And that makes it believable, right? That makes it, okay, there's a 110-pound guy or whatever he is.
Going at me at 900 miles an hour.
Going at you. It's gonna freaking hurt, man. So,
Of course. Yeah, I'm with you. And the other exciting news that came out of this, Kushida versus Darby next week on Dynamite.
You're happy about that?
Oh, boy. I'm very happy about that. Mm-hmm. I'm very happy to see Kushida wrestling again in American television. It makes me really happy. I feel like he that like era of NXT 2.0 where I started covering it for Fightful was such an underutilization. And at times, I hate to be so negative, but at times just downright insulting to the legacy that he built himself for in wrestling. Some of the stuff that they were having him do, I'm just like, that's not wasting potential. That's just insulting. So very, very, very happy that he is back to getting to kind of explore his own thing a little bit. Very happy. And I think he has a GCW date coming up in New York as well. We've got Tom LaValle chiming in via Humper Chat saying, always great to see Kate and Alex running the show on Fridays. This and Daniel Craig weekend on Twitter is how I know the weekend has begun. Just enjoy wrestling, man.
3-day weekend, baby. 3-day weekend. Let's go.
It was so funny with everything that happened Tuesday. I was so tired. Even just like the Steph McMahon news was really a bummer because she's very well respected. And then we did 4 hours talking about a credible Vince rumor. And that's just a drag, and it stinks because of the implications of that. And then I felt like Dynamite was really, really strong. And
it was.
I was, from the moment the bell rang with Mox and Hangman on, I was just like, oh yeah, I love this stuff. Like, and Danielson versus Takeshita, I felt like was so special. Like, it's been really nice. And then tonight, like, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn is one of, if not my favorite storylines of wrestling right now. So I'm glad in a week where things were so chaotic, there was so much great wrestling happening on television to remind us all, like, hey, remember, this is why you love this stuff. So just really, really good to see, and also really good stuff to see this quick vignette that we get. Holy cow, man, I'm loving this Hobbs stuff. And I know you've always been in Hobbs' corner, and I've always liked him, but you've been like loving Hobbs. These quick, really well filmed, really intimidating, cool, collected Hobbs things.
I love Hobbs.
Man, he says that basically he's here to crush your hopes and dreams because he was robbed of his as a kid with his upbringing.
Oh my God.
That's basically all he said, and that was basically all we needed. I kind of feel like with him, while the story is very fleshed out and delivered differently, the thing I love with Eddie Kingston so much is it's always like, I'm going to kick your ass because, and it feels very, very personal. But at the end of the day, it comes back to, I'm going to kick your butt. Will Hobbs is kind of getting to that point of like, I'm going to ruin your life. And here's why. I'm all in for that. It makes wrestling feel real. What did you think of this quick little Hobbs vignette that we got?
I feel like these little micro-size Hobbs that they're giving me, I'm going to just call them Hobbs, are really putting together a bigger picture. And whatever this end game is, whomever he's gonna go after, whatever his thought process is here, he's gonna kill him. Just plain and simple. Because I've been a Hobbs mark, guys, for a very long time, since Kate let me come on here to talk wrestling with her. I've always praised him, and I mean, I can only imagine that this is the first couple steps to some kind of maybe championship reign. I hope so. That'd be great. And then just put him through everyone. Put him through everyone.
He should be destroying people.
That's
should be destroying people. And I think they're setting him up to do that. The actual whole length of the promo was simply this. The good book says that the phoenix rose from the ashes. Well, I took the phoenix and I broke its neck. And I took the ashes just like all my hopes and dreams were taken away from me. Now I'm going to spread those ashes all over anyone I hurt in AEW.
God.
Damn.
God.
Damn. Now, from a segment that was made to pop 12-year-old boys, and like, I'm pretty fine with it, to be honest. We hear from Daddy Ass Billy Gunn and the AEW Tag Team Champions, the Acclaimed. This is my biggest gripe with Rampage tonight, all right? Max Caster botched his rap live. You leave that in. That's good shit. I don't care. That would
have been great, because no one was gonna attack it. Everyone was gonna be like, okay, we understand, you know?
Yeah, it's also, they have an hour to work with, so anything that's gonna kill more time, I think, is probably off the table. But it was, if you haven't seen the live video circulating around Twitter, it's just funny. It's just fun. Wrestling is a live performance art. Silly things happen, but he gets a nice little jab about the Saudi Arabia stuff in there, which I think was kind of fun. But this whole segment is centered around the fact that they're going to put their hands in the cement for the Walk of Fame. And then the Ass Boys come out. They're jaw-jockeying a little bit. Daddy Ass is out there, not even being subtle about anything in the whole wide world. So much fun. They pants the Ass Boys and they put their butts in the cement. This is just silly wrestling fun. It didn't take up too much time. I've got no problem with this. A little juvenile, but like, I'm watching wrestling at 10:30 at night on a Friday. What am I supposed to be expecting, right? This was fun. The Acclaimed are super over. They're very over in California. What did you think of this?
Oh man, again, back-to-back groups that I've spoken so highly about, and Kate knows this. Like, I text her and I'm like, yo, I love these guys so much, so damn much. And whether it's Ricky Starks or Hobbs, like, I'm always saying something to her, like, I'm so behind them. But yeah, you know, a little bit of the entertainment, right? Throw a little E in there, right? For us folks that
Entertainment,
like that.
if
Yeah,
you
a
would.
little entertainment, you know. I didn't see anything bad about it. It was a time filler, whatever. It is what it is, you know, but he always kills it on the mic, so why not give a little bit to the crowd? They expect it too. They expect him to come out. If he's not coming out on Wednesday, to come out, you know, on a Friday night and give it to the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, we can't all get Jeff Jarrett time on both
Oh
programs.
God, I
but...
love Jeff Jarrett. We'll talk about that later.
All right, well, now I know when I get to mute you tonight, but in the tag division, not with our tag champions, we are getting the Young Bucks versus Top Flight on Dynamite, so I'm way more excited for that than if this is leading to a match, but this also might have just been a fun segment to do. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see what happens. We'll see how cranky I get about the Gun Club and Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal being on my TV this much when they have this deep of a tag division. But we move along to Swerve and Mogul affiliates with Diddy's two sons. Man, they basically just say here that like they're going to be the most vicious faction in AEW. They don't read as vicious to me. Swerve does. Parker Boudreaux looks like a fifth-year senior at a high school, man. I'm sorry. Like, it's not for me. I don't find him intimidating. I find it inauthentic. I know he is authentically very much into, like, rap and knows different rappers. And so I'm glad they lean into who people really are. I think that's a really good thing. But this just does not read to me. And, like, I just really wanted to go, like, I just want Swerve to have a singles run. And I really, really, really was like salivating for him and Keith Lee. And it feels like something that we're going to come back to now. And I was like, you had me right there. Just do it. Just do the feud. Like, I was on the edge of my seat for that stuff. I had built it out so well. This feels like an unnecessary detour, but pretty cool that they got Diddy Kiddos in there.
Do you feel like maybe because we're so accustomed to like just getting everything spoon fed to us, like here, this is this person's coming back, and then here's a feud about. Do you feel like maybe we're just this for both companies? We sometimes overreact a little bit because we know it's there and it should happen right now, but they kind of usually come back around to it because it's happened on both companies. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, I would say anybody who is doing a podcast at 11:30 at night about wrestling might have a propensity to overreact to things. I don't know. No, like I do agree where there's things that should have a longer burn. I felt like the build between Keith Lee and Swerve had me ready for the moment. Like, I think there's feuds that I'm so glad. Say nothing happened with Punk, with Brawl Out, whatever.
Yeah.
They should not have run him and Eddie back 3 times in a row. That would have been stupid. That would have been a waste. But Swerve and Keith Lee as a tag team, it was, to me, felt like the story read as like, we're not on the same page in the ring. And then it felt like we're not on the same page of the tactics that we feel comfortable with to beat our opponents. Like, Swerve was all of a sudden way more okay with cheating. And then it became super personal. And the Shane Taylor stuff came into play. And so when it becomes super personal, I don't think it makes sense to cool that off. That's where I sit on it.
I value that because that's what I was asking, right? Because there's so much going on. AEW has so many stories going on at once, and it's a change from almost a year ago where we were sitting here going, okay, where are the stories? Like, there was a lot of like fights and things going on, but they weren't. So now they are very invested in it. Like, they're kind of coming around and being fully rounded. So, I mean, I'm with you. I hope that Swerve looks like he's in control of what he wants to do. And I think that they're giving him that. So, I'll see where this goes from here. I think I'm with you. I hope that him and Keith Lee, like, best out of 7, throw them out there. We already had one best out of 7. Let's do another one.
I think anytime, I always say this too, if wrestlers want to do something and it's not harmful to other people, they should do it. If Chris Jericho and MJF want to do a steak dinner musical number, they should do it. Because there's always going to be people that don't like what you want to do. So this is what Swerve wants to be doing. Awesome. But for me as a fan, I was just ready to see him on that singles run. Like, I felt like he was the star in Hit Row, and the faction needed him more than he needed the faction. Like things like that, where I've just been ready for Swerve to have a run on his own for so long now that's part of this. I'm just not into it, but it is really cool how much like industry crossover there sincerely is, and like that he sincerely has a cool music out and stuff. I do definitely appreciate that.
Bearcat will be back. Oh
my God, are you? You didn't even talk long enough for me to mute you. Just total failure. Total failure. Okay, I loved everything about this next segment in a complete 180 than what I just said. The Kings of the Black Throne.
Ooh.
Malachi Black and Brody King with Bud Matthews and Julia Hart versus Eddie Kingston and Ortiz. I adore Eddie Kingston. I adore the story. I love what's working for me about this is what's working for me about Bray Wyatt and LA Knight, and that you have a guy that calls someone out kind of on their spooky stuff and isn't intimidated by it like an Eddie Kingston. And then you have Malachi Black. And Malachi's so interesting because he has spooky overtures, but I feel like he still operates in reality mostly. So I just like weird demon satanic dude versus brute that looks like he's gonna kick your ass at a bar. Like, sign me up for that.
I know
every day.
It looked like a biker gang happened to meet up with a bunch of dudes at the normal bar somewhere in New York City, and they just like clashed right in the middle. I love the way this started. I loved Brody just planting Ortiz with a chop before we were even insane,
off and
man.
running. So special, such a great talent. Yeah. Loved Eddie and Malachi both setting in the ring Indian style. We get Kingston delivering an over-the-top exploder, going for a cover, and it's a no-go. We get Ortiz with a fisherman buster, and Black pushing Ortiz outside the ring, grabbing Kingston for the cover and the victory to end it. Lot of ode to just fishermen in this. Fisherman suplexes, fisherman busters. I loved it. And I just am so connected to Eddie Kingston's in-ring work and style and his storytelling. Like, there were so many storytelling nuances in here. The Buddy Matthews chair spot stuff was so much fun in this. This was just it's kind of a story that sprung up. Not that it's been getting built, but it was kind of like, oh, that's interesting. And now it feels like it's playing out just perfectly. And then post-match, we get the House of Black grabbing Ortiz to tell him what a good job he did for them. So much of the story with this is Kingston and Ortiz maybe not being on the same page, and Eddie questioning Ortiz's loyalty here. I'm so in on this. What did you think?
Yeah, it's such a different styles that are clashing together with these two groups, right? And I don't know where it's going to lead for Kingston and Ortiz, but I see Malachi and the team kind of like finally getting back to what they were supposed to be, right? They whatever shakeup happened and the way that they've been brought back, their vignettes are awesome. They just look like superstars. Julia Hart looks insane. I hope she never changes because I just love that freaky look that she has now. And the team is just running at all cylinders. You can put them up against anyone individually, in a trios match, in doubles, whatever. And I think that they'll pretty much run the gauntlet if you let them. And I think that if you want to build them to be a powerhouse team, you're going to kind of have to do that. I don't know who they're going to run them through, but I think it would be dope to see them, the House of Black, actually be like top tier in AEW.
I don't think the Elite needs a super long title run. I think holding it through Revolution, getting to Double or Nothing, maybe your trios title matches, House of Black versus the Elite with House of Black going over, and to your point, they're just running roughshod till then, I think.
Versus FTR and CM Punk, obviously.
My fantasy booking is CM Punk and FTR come back and cost the
Can
Elite.
you imagine that?
I would lose my mind.
You want to talk about wrestling?
I will buy all of
yes.
you Starbucks gift cards, just like it. No,
you
I'm
want
just
to
kidding.
talk about wrestling losing their shit, if you don't mind me cursing here. The focus of AEW has shifted, and we spoke about this last week. They're caring about themselves. They're not worried about what WWE is doing anymore, which is
other than trying to buy them, but yeah.
Well, I mean, if I had that much money laying around in my mattress, I would probably buy them too. But other than that, you got to think about this, guys. They finally are firing on all cylinders because they're caring about their stories, their people, and what they're doing. They're no longer like have WWE in the back of their minds, like, what can we do to, say something or get views and likes, whatever.
I agree. It feels much more like they are in their own product. I think top talent having returned. Sorry for the background switch. I was on the wrong.
I don't know what happened there. I thought I left the stream. I'm like, God. Where am I?
Bray Wyatt's here.
Again, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I mean, can you imagine Punk returning with FTR in like they said on the chat in Chicago? My goodness. I don't know if you'll see Kate. You won't see Kate for a couple days. That's all I gotta say.
I'll just be on stream like,
yeah.
Oh my God. No, I think there's obviously a lot of money to be made, but reiterating, you have to be happy and healthy in your locker rooms. That is super first and foremost with any of this, but a cajillion dollars to be made. Either way, I want House of Black to be your trios titles champions.
Same.
Like 100%. But I love the idea of them just like running roughshod over the roster the whole time. And hey, speaking of pay-per-views, Alex, they're kind of expensive, to be honest. If you're in this country, if you're in, I don't know, Lithuania, somewhere else, might be a little bit cheaper. But you can't just like fly to Lithuania. You can get there though with other services to help you out with the best VPN in the game with NordVPN.
NordVPN.com/Fightful. Block online trackers, annoying pop-up ads, unlock geo-blocked content. Maybe you missed the WWE Network. Maybe you want that AEW Plus. Maybe you want to subscribe to overseas services so you can get UFC pay-per-views at a reduced rate. Well, NordVPN.com/Fightful allows you to do that, and you can do it with 4 months for free with that link. Not only that, you get your 30-day money-back guarantee as well, just in case you don't like it for any reason. It works on all of your devices, so you can do this stuff wherever you are. Maybe you're on that unsecured Wi-Fi at the airport, the hotel. Yeah, it can be dangerous. Your info is at risk, but you can still gain access to all that stuff. Check out all of your favorite shows, or maybe shows you haven't discovered before, with NordVPN.com/Fightful, now with multiple tiers, so you can get whatever services that you want. NordVPN.com/Fightful.
That's it, man. NordVPN/Fightful. You can watch AEW without commercials if you want to. NordVPN, man. And they've been so good to us, sincerely. We had a really good thing going, and when it came time to renew, they said, we're going to invest even more in you. So please let them know that you found out about them through us. Even if you don't use their service, send them up with a tweet and be like, hey, this blonde gal plays all these videos of Sean Ross Sapp, who sometimes makes weird jokes in the middle of his ads, but nonetheless, I found out about your great value. So appreciate that and appreciate NordVPN so much. So much. We also appreciate chats that come in for you like this one, like CO just saying, speaking of adoration, what's happening, Keeper of the Bangs? Girlfriend, the bangs need to get cut, Alex.
No, like you got to keep them going. They look like fangs right now, so I like that. Yeah, freaky House of Black look. Keep it going.
We're gonna switch some stuff up at the hair salon right before I go for the Jericho cruise. Actually, let me know if you're going cruise? On the. I am going on the. Jericho.
So is Jeff Dye from Wrestling with Freddie. So I hope you.
Yeah.
He's gonna be on the ship. Right? So I'll send him your way.
So well, many of you guys. So hit me up on Twitter if you're gonna be there. But yeah, very much looking forward to that at the beginning of February. But very kind, thank you, CO. And hey, Alex, nice mustache, sir. Hope the house situation is going well. Alex, how is the house situation?
The house is beautiful. I'm waiting for like $30,000 worth of new furniture I bought. Let's not tell anyone that. But yeah, I had to. I don't have anything.
You gotta put furniture in the house. My goodness.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna pay for anything, but luckily I'm here with you and my OnlyFans, so we're good.
Look, if wrestling keeps getting wild, I'm sure we're all gonna get pay bumps. People keep subscribing to Fightful Select to find out more. So help Alex pay his furniture. Go to FightfulSelect.com. Orion Ben saying, keep paying for Eddie and Ortiz couple counseling. I am okay with both of them being single stars. I don't know if I see Ortiz fitting in with House of Black. I'm open to it. I'm super, super open to that idea. And in general, I try to be open to creative that hasn't happened yet. Like, but I'm okay with an Ortiz and Eddie feud. That's something that should be like a 3-match ass kicking, whatever. I don't know what the status of Santana is injury-wise. I know his knee was in really, really rough shape. I would love for him to come back with Ortiz. They should have been tag champs. My goodness. We got Chris Mueller saying, here's $2 to go toward Alex's coffee table.
Thank you,
Doc. Follow him at BR_Doc. Yes. And whenever you have issues with Bleacher Report, I always say, hit him up on Twitter. He will every time fix him up. Mm-hmm.
Every time my AEW goes down when I'm watching a pay-per-view, I hit up the Doc like that.
Just like that.
I don't know what kind of pull he has, but damn.
He's definitely not just doing great interviews and articles over at Bleacher Report. That's not what he's doing. He is in the IT department. So, that's what he's up to. Oh, man. Good stuff on Rampage tonight. Really, really good stuff. But we move along to the baddies kicking out Red Velvet here. The baddies are dwindling, my friend. The only one that's left is an interim baddie, but this is just a nice little promo for Jade saying that she's kind of more concerned with her 50th match than Red Velvet. I'm very confused about... I'm not very confused. I took the Mercedes is showing up bait. I have mixed feelings about it. I still think she might show up. I think her not showing up might be a swerve, and she could dethrone Jade. I would love if it was Chris Statlander, though, man. I would love it.
She says she's sitting at home chilling, so
she's she like injured herself, and then I feel like a week later was like, I'm lifting in the gym again.
Yeah,
like, that girl's such a BA, man.
Yes.
I can't wait. Her return is going to be really special for a few reasons. I actually tweeted this before, and a lot of people shared a lot of love about it, so that made me really happy. Like, she was getting so over right before her injury, and we've seen so much growth in the women's division since that. I think between her coming back to just what I think is going to be a monster pop, and the women that are ready to go in this division, like, I think her return is going to be really, really special. And I hope she heals up, and I can't wait till she returns. I think that's going to be so much fun. So much fun. But we move on to the segment with, I don't really know, like, Paul Walter hasn't very, very much.
Stingray? You don't know Stingray? Oh my God.
He's a Gold Globe Award winner, or a Gold Globehausen winner, I should say. But Ryan Sullivan saying Danhausen trapped behind Singh made my night. They knew their target audience here in LA. They had a lot of crossover tonight. This was perfectly fine. He called Jeff Jarrett. He looks like a woman that owns a Crunch Fitness. Paul Walterhausen, speaking Hausen to the crowd Hausen, saying that he's going to rename the Gold Glove Awards the Gold Glove Hausens because Danhausen said he didn't get his Gold Glove Award. He's the leader in merch at AEW. Like, where's his Gold Globe? We have Jeff Jarrett coming out. Look, okay. I don't need Jeff Jarrett on my screen twice a week. And I'm pretty over it. And now, because he's doing fundamentally good work, like, I can totally concede that he's doing good work, but now I feel like I've leaned so much into I don't want to see him on my screen. I have to keep it up. Like, I can't just admit that Jeff Jarrett is doing good work.
No.
I thought he
gotta
was good at Battle of the Belts, and I'm like, I can't admit that. I can't come on here to admit that. But
don't sell it.
I do think. I know I haven't watched Cobra Kai. I suck.
Suck, young lady.
I know. You know what? It's one of those things where this happened to me. This happens to me with a lot of TV shows where I'm like, I know I'm going to sit down and watch it in like a weekend or whatever. And I want to go back and watch the original. So it's like, I want to take a weekend and do that. And I just haven't done it. But okay, admittedly, Jeff Jarrett's doing pretty good work. The spot was fine. I still feel like they're on my screen too much. But like, their match versus the Acclaimed was like pretty good for what it was. But I'm not happy about it still. All right. I have to find the line between being committed to the bit and being
I'll
a
compromise
fair
with
analyst.
I sort
You
of
love
enjoy
Jeff
Smart
Jarrett.
Mark on some things, okay? Here, I'll compromise with you, everyone, okay? Smart Mark has nice suits. There we go. I mean,
There you go.
now we can
See?
compromise. We can have
Feel
double
good.
J, double F, TP.
We like gave double props tonight, and I think that's
Yes,
sweet.
you see that? That's what we do around here. We take care of each other.
Feels good. It feels good after an exhausting week to look on the bright side. We got some chats about the idea of Statlander versus Hayter. Graham B saying, I thought about that and I almost fainted. That would be, I mean, there's so many matches, man. Statlander versus Willow, come on. Statlander versus Tony Storm. People that have been there. Statlander versus Sheeta, like over and over again, give me that, right? So, yeah, no, it makes me really happy because I think it's going to be an incredible pop. Like, I think it is going to be very, very loud when she returns. I think it's going to be really special. Really, really special. Volov saying, a wild Slapnuts appears. Slapnuts uses confusion on Kate. It was super effective. Like, you set yourself up to get called a woman that looks like she owns a Crunch Fitness, and I'm in. That's just, there's no way to slice it that isn't funny. That's pretty good stuff.
True.
We've got ShotKid29 saying about LAX. If Santana and Ortiz have buried the hatchet or reunited LAX, and the AEW would kick ass. And yes, that includes Diamante. Been sounding off about that for like probably 18 months at this point. I don't understand why Diamante is not on my TV screen. And LAX, like her being reunited, and that would be fantastic. Love that idea as a trio. I think if you had Santana, Ortiz, and Eddie, a lot of possibilities.
Calm
that
yourself
are fun.
down, Kate. Calm yourself down. You look flustered. You're sweating.
I'm forever,
my God,
forever hyped about the idea of
just
LAX.
give her some air, people.
So we end Rampage with a really fun street fight. Ruby Soho and Willow defeating TayJay, and we find out Willow versus Tony Storm on Dynamite. Man,
Jeez.
What a turnaround for this division, and that something that's, I'm going to say, I don't want to call it a throwaway match, but like not a story-driven match, just a one-off probably, is Tony Storm versus Willow, and it's going to rule. You know what I mean? Like, oh, so fun. But tonight, this is the most chats we've got about stuff, and it makes me really happy because these girls laid out a very scary spot in here where Anna Jay's had missed and did not miss a bunch of concrete. I hope she's okay. That was scary to watch. But Tay and Anna get attacked from behind as Ruby and Willow come out. A little bit of like a Dudley Boys outfit tribute. I loved that. That was really, really fun. Knew there were going to be tables in it from that moment on. But Ruby getting busted open early here. It's kind of all we needed. Like this, whew, a blast. We get so many callbacks to the first hardcore match that they kind of had with the barbed wire sleeve and all that kind of stuff. I believe this one on the Destination Unknown. I'm sorry if that's incorrect, but I'm pretty sure that's what we went home with. I just really hope Anna Jay is okay, but this was really, really fun. I think it's so funny. Separate of each other, I feel like I have said that Ruby and Willow are two of the most magnetic performers in the world, especially Willow. Like I use that word with her almost synonymously, and Ruby the same. And they're kind of like these perfect little misfits that share that quality. But I loved this. I think it's really fun to have like deathmatch Willow Nightingale. It's just a fun idea, a super fun idea. But this was great. This was great. Cabbage Sensei saying repost from earlier, but FYI, both Ruby and Anna Jay have been retweeting, posting on Instagram, so at least their fingers are working. Yeah, that's good news. And she hung in there, you know what I mean? But it's just a scary spot, and scary spots happen. But Ruby yelling "get the tables" is something that people are talking about just in the chat. This is such a fun main event, especially on Rampage. I love that they give the women room to do another, what did WWE call it? Gory self-mutilation.
Gruesome.
Gory self-mutilation. But this was so much fun.
I want more of it.
Yeah, these ladies laid out. I think a women's blood and guts match is the next.
Yes.
The next milestone. I think you could see more stipulation matches that aren't tic-tac and cage focused. I think you could get more ladders. I think you could get just more hardcore matches in general would be really, really fun. But the division is so deep between the talent that they've added and the growth of the talent that's been there and investing and working really, really hard. Like, this is everything that I wanted for these ladies, everything that I was complaining about for 2.5 years. It really feels like we've turned a corner on in a sustainable way. I feel like there were times that they had their foot on the gas and took it off, but it feels like this is what we get to expect. But I think like a full-on war game style blood and guts thing could be super, super fun. But talking about tonight, what did you think of this match?
They beat we've seen people beat the crap out of each other, but these girls went after each other. There was a spot as well on the apron where Anna Jay took a drop. Oh my God, it looked like she dropped right on the back of her head. Incredible. I got to give it up to the ladies, man. They are stepping up and really putting it out there that, you know, they can pretty much go hand in hand with the men. Whatever matches they have, you can give them. AEW obviously gives you a little bit more of that freedom to be able to go out there and express yourself in that art form, as opposed to WWE, where they're like, I don't think that's a good idea because the women shouldn't be fighting like that, right?
It's just a PG product, right?
Right.
They have these literally they can't have blood.
I mean, you can still have Ruby without the blood, but the style of the match is so AEW style, which is great because this is what we want. We want an alternative. I don't want the same crap that's on the other channel, you know? So, I mean, these ladies...
It feels like they let in when they were trying to invest more time and care into the women's division. It felt like the beginnings of that kind of started with the first one of these matches, and this was something that they realized could differentiate themselves. There's so much incredible wrestling, women's wrestling in WWE, but they don't usually lean in this hard. They don't go as violent. They don't go as hard hitting necessarily. So I feel like they thought they might have unlocked something with that. Look, you got Jamie Hayter as champ now, right? Like, she lays in really, really hard. So like leaning into being extremely physical in matches like this you're right. It's a differentiator, blood and barbed wire aside. Like the physicality in that is something that seems special and unique. And we've got some chats to go through on this. Chris Mueller, again, can't emphasize enough. If you have any issues with your Bleacher Report app, I'm so mean. Bloody Ruby Soho scares me and I like it. He says, me too, man. I loved that. Like, she just got back from her broken nose and she was like, I don't care. Whatever. Let's go. Let's go really hard. One LT photo saying that Anna Jay landing was rough to watch. It was one of those things where so much of Rampage, especially because a 1 hour show is just really easy to be like present in. It took you out for a second where you're like, oh God, I hope she's all right. So agreed. That was tough. Chi-Town Spurs saying Anna Jay bumps like crazy in that match. Hope she's okay. Agreed. And the Pro Wrestling Podcast, who's been so supportive of us. Thank you so much. saying Ruby Soho bled like crazy. Yeah, she was busted open pretty good. Pretty good on that.
I mean, and then that spot with the thumbtacks was pretty dope too. Like the girls played it really well, man. And Ty has really made a turn. She's like, I believe if she were to finish out her career with AEW, like let's say another whatever, eventually she would want to settle down and start a family. I've seen things rumbling like that before about her putting it up online, but if she were to continue this path that she's on as a badass street fighter on AEW, man, she could end up as one of the good ones, man, one of the greats, because she shows it. She's physical. She'll go out there. She'll try anything.
I feel like the year before last, she was the most improved wrestler in AEW for sure, maybe in all of wrestling. I think Deonna Purrazzo was kind of coming out at that same time too, but like certainly one of the most improved wrestlers in wrestling. And then when she did this style match the first time around, I think people were like, holy crap. Like not only has she gotten so just improved so much in the ring, but she also like is willing to do stuff like this. Like that's crazy. That's star making stuff.
Anna Jay as well, I think.
Anna Jay as well, for sure.
Oh my god,
for sure. There's something Tay
bounds.
like leans into it though, man. Like Tay, I feel like thrives off of this. I really liked Jericho talking about her Brazilian backgrounds in this. He was pretty good on commentary tonight. The past couple weeks, I've really liked his work. He also said in the House of Black at a Kingston Ortiz match, he was like, he almost lit me on fire. That man cracked me up, but she's great. I really, really like Tay. I don't care about people's personal lives. I don't pretend I know what's going on in them.
No one should.
Yeah, I do think the Appreciation Society stuff has been a little bit hit and miss for her, and even more miss, I would say, for Anna Jay, because I feel like the heel she is doesn't really line up with the heels that are in the rest of that faction. But this stuff was great, and I loved Jericho talking about like her Brazilian heritage and like she's not unfamiliar with street fights.
Like, those are my really girls.
Nice thing. Yeah, it was great. It was great, but kudos to them. They put on a hell of a main event. That is fun anytime, but like you're coming down the stretch at 11 o'clock at night on a Friday, like that feels like I'm tuning in for Friday Night Wrestling. What a blast.
Sure.
What a blast. So that took us home on Rampage. That was such a fun show. We got a couple more chats before we move on though. Shotkid29 sending in a Humper Chat. We appreciate that. YouTube takes like 30%. So humperchats.com. You get to keep a little bit more of the cash thing. Women's Anarchy in the Arena, followed by Blood and Guts.
Wow.
Where it's the OGs versus the Outsiders. Oh, I love that. Team should be Britt, Jamie, Rosa, Sheeta, and Statlander for the Homers. Saraya, Mercedes, Tony, Athena, and Serena for the Outsiders. Whoo, boy. That I would sign up for any day of the week. Yeah. Serena's a tough one because, I mean, put her on the team. I'm not complaining about that. I feel like she might not be as synonymous with WWE as the others, kind of, but like, I don't care. Put Serena on the heel side of that faction. I'm in. Orion Ben saying, blood from a ruby shirt. Blood from a ruby shirt's when, Tony Khan. I like it. Meet Norma saying, hi, Kate and other Alex and any Sour Grab Society folks. Our fun Tuesday night weird, like, variety hour fans that we have. I had a no DQ match with Jameson Bray for me. Man, I've heard Jameson that's a tough match. That's a tough match. When I was in college, I saw a lot of losses to Jameson. So I'm wishing the best for you. I hope you recover. We hope you heal up. Take Advil before you go to bed. Mark Quill saying, glad to be back, everyone. Love you all. I hope your Friday was great. Thank you, Mark Quill. Mark Quill's
Thanks,
always
Mark.
like the nicest dude in the whole wide world. Yeah. My Friday sucked. I had a migraine most of the day.
That sucks.
Not fun. I recorded our Get the Flick Out of Here episode with Alex Pulaski on the Know Your News Network. I got off the stream and then I threw up. and then I laid down. It was a rough day.
Wow, I'm sorry for that.
I woke up, set up the broadcast for this, was like, I don't know how I feel. And then I started to feel better. And I was like, all right. I had to put Pulowski on standby for a second. I was like, if I can't recover, can you help me out? But you know what? Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn fixes everything that you got going on up here in your heads, in your hearts. Very, very happy. Very happy I was feeling okay in time to see it, because the rest of SmackDown was pretty mid. The main event was phenomenal. And we're going to fly through the beginning of the show because I want to talk about the main event for a really long time. We open with our IC title match, which was also really solid, actually. I feel like this is easily Bray's best match since returning. His match with Omos in Saudi Arabia, I felt like actually was pretty good too. I think maybe he feels a little more comfortable with the big man on big man matches, which makes sense. You probably don't want to like hurt an opponent. And I also think just stylistically, sometimes the equal matchup is a little bit better of a thing. I was nervous Braun was going to go over here. I was glad he didn't. But Gunther wins. Unfortunately, he won with a folding powerbomb, which like didn't look great, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
That's kind of a bummer. I think just exhausted from this match probably, and getting Braun up that's a big win. That's a big one. But this match was actually pretty good. I feel like Gunther is a hard guy to have a bad match with, but stylistically, we haven't seen Gunther match up a ton, right? Like we saw those matches with Ricochet, which were great. The Sheamus match was probably closer to this stylistically, but I think, no offense to Braun Strowman, was better by miles, like probably a match of the year candidate. However, it was nice to see this being Braun's best match and it looking like a good match. There's some just brutal chops in this, of course, some brutal stomps. The lariat from Gunther was ridiculous in this. This was a really fun way to open it, and I think it was a good match for Braun to have, because when he's in there with jobbers and smaller guys, it's a lot of like shoulder tackle, block, monster. Like, so this was fun. We just got to see like a little bit more of what he's capable of. I'm glad Gunther won. I'm not convinced that Braun doesn't dethrone him eventually. I pray it's Sheamus at WrestleMania. But what did you think of our opening match here?
Yeah, I thought it was a fun bout. That ending there, kind of like the way he folded down. I was like, he landed and then he tried to bring his legs. I was like, oh no! But I can't let that like take away from the fact that after the match, they did the interview with Gunther later on, and it looked like his nipple was gonna fall off. That's how hard freaking Braun Strowman must have been. If you look back at that footage, look at his nipples, like bleeding and red and like peeling off his body.
Yeah, they went chops back and forth.
They went
hard. Forearms, the lariats. It was a rough one. So onlyfans.com / Gunther nipples is where you can.
The fallen nipple.
The fallen nipple. Oh my god. Sounds like a shitty metal band I would go see in college.
Yeah.
But a fun opener. A fun opener. Later we get a really fun promo from Paul Heyman, basically telling us that no one else in the bloodline is there tonight. This is Sami's night. No one's coming to help him. Like, this is a Sami Zayn test, right? Tipped the hat a little bit, but not in such an egregious way that you were like, oh, there's going to be interference. Like, I thought that might be where this ending was going, but a rare time I didn't mind the DQ ending. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But we move along to what was kind of a low point of the night for me, which was Xia Li versus Tegan Nox.
Yeah.
This just never... It was short. There wasn't really a huge story other than Xia Li kind of saying, like, Tegan Nox essentially has, like, jumped her in line and she just came back, which is a nice effort and a good thing to try and put out there, but, like, didn't get a lot of time. Nox wins with the shiniest wizard, so I'm glad she at least got a win here. But didn't really work for me. What did you think?
Yeah, no, it felt like the crowd deflated. It just, they were trying to pump in as much noise as possible. electronically like they always do. But it just, to me, her entrance was weirdly off. Like people were just staring at her. Like they would, you want to build that energy so you can have a good match. But yeah, I mean, to me, even when Tegan came out, I was like, did we forget that, Tegan just came back? Like we're just whatever. Now we're just like, okay, cool. This is a fight, just to have it. It didn't feel like it didn't have. I'm sorry. I don't want to shit on him. I'm just saying.
No,
like,
it wasn't. It objectively was
it.
not very good tonight.
It didn't have it. Yeah, unfortunately. And I like both of them, but unfortunately, it was blah.
It was blah, and it's just weird because we had like this hooded attack from Xia Li to get here is just like an odd kind of thing, but didn't really work. But we'll move right along, guys. Get in your super chats and your humper chats to weigh in on stuff.
Help me buy a coffee table.
Help Alex buy a coffee table. Help me
cut her bangs.
Cut my bangs for sure. And of course, we're going to tell you all about what's going on at Fightful Select. A thorough and extensive piece from Sean came out on the credible rumor so far, the unconfirmed story that we talked about for 4 hours on Tuesday. But Sean has some really good insight about what's going on. He also had information on the talent meeting that took place earlier today. It was an all SmackDown talent meeting, not a company-wide one. More about reactions coming up with Stephanie McMahon's departure, all sorts of stuff happening. And more interviews, more coming up behind Fightful Select. And then, of course, we have the Impact show that is probably still on. You can go give Cresta, the Star, and Dole and Steven Jensen some love if you're into the Impact product. Very cool that they had Jordan Grace and Mickie James main eventing today. That's a blast. That's an absolute blast over there at Impact. So check those out. And then, of course, you got the Grapsody Boys going on tomorrow, and you got the Fightful Awards coming up soon. Those had to unfortunately get postponed, but we've got so much more to talk about with SmackDown. You want to chat about it? Let us know. Get into your super chats and humper chats. But we're going to talk about this Rey Mysterio Karrion Kross thing.
Oh, God.
What was Karrion Kross wearing?
I put out a tweet which people kind of liked. I said, God, he looks like a 1998 math teacher. Like that's exactly what my math teacher looked like. The long, trench coat from back in the day, the slick hair back. I was hoping he would come out with a flip phone or something, but that didn't happen. He had a card in his hand, but that's what he looked like.
He looked to me like I used to go to the Bitter End in New York.
Oh.
And it was like all the like hipster musicians down there. He was like a fedora away. That
would be great if he had a fedora. If he came out with a fedora, but that, his gimmick.
It's just so weird. I like, you have a hot witchy wife. The thing that was working was, I feel like, the motorcycle jacket. Like they finally found something cohesive, and then I was like, I don't know what this is, but all right, Mr. Fashionable.
God, he's just it's so weird because I don't know where he's going. I don't know what, I mean, besides the storyline. Yeah, okay, cool. He's going to go after Rey. But outside of that, I hope next week he comes out with bondage gear.
Hold on. We know that doesn't work, but.
Maybe. Vinny's back. Kross looked like $1 Agent 47.
Let us know nicely. Let us know what you thought Karrion Kross looked like tonight. Because super chat.
Nicely, I love
Be nice.
That.
Be silly.
Nice to Karrion.
But not mean. Yeah, he does feel a little lost in the shuffle here. It definitely felt like he was brought back to be his top position talent. Felt like some things weren't really clicking. He did like a cool cross jacket here. They did the card spot with Rey Mysterio's face on it, but there was like a weird production thing where we didn't get to see like that Rey's face was on it. It was very, very kind of disjointed, but I feel like Rey Mysterio versus Karrion Kross ring-wise should be something that's fun. Rey's a damn legend, right? So this was pretty good. Not gonna lie, with my headache, I missed like a good part of this because I went to get more Excedrin migraine because I was able to at the time. So I missed a piece of this, but what I saw was Karrion Kross is fit, and I saw the card reveal not go well. Any additional thoughts on this? Or this
It looked like the card was supposed to like spark. Did I see that wrong? Or was that like a lighting issue? I don't know. It looked to me when she held the card up, the way she was holding it kind of looked like maybe it was supposed to like spark up, like those little fake sparkle things. But I think it was maybe the way the production lights started hitting the camera. I was like, what is going on? Why is she holding a card? And then I got like stare at it. I'm like, oh, okay, I understand now.
I do like there is more cohesion with the act now of the like tarot card revealing who the opponent is. Like that stuff I like. But yeah, not a ton else to write home about there. So we will.
Oh my God. He looked like the big boss man from when he joined the NWO in WCW.
Cross looked like IRS with a coat and no glasses. Alex said something funny on the watch along. Like he looked like he belonged in Uncensored or something. I can't remember. It was funny though.
Uncensored, yeah.
He kind of did. Right. I was like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, Pulaski. I'll take it. So we get a Viking Raiders vignette recap here with the Banger Bros. There was a report. I don't know if it got confirmed by Fightful. I saw it after that they were like, yes, we know what the Bang Bros are. Like WWE knows. We're letting it happen anyway, which I thought was fun. You should let that happen because it's hilarious. But they're backstage with Adam Pearce, and I kind of love this idea of like Sheamus and Drew in a tag team right now. Like there's not a ton else going on. Tag team needs some love, but the Viking Raiders attacked Sheamus and Drew. I can get behind that. And later we find out from Adam Pearce that there's going to be a tag tournament. I love tournaments. I love them putting stakes in tag matches. So I am happy about that. Any thoughts on this?
No, just a lot of banging going on in that interview. Like
just like banger after banger.
He looked very uncomfortable after a while. Like I was like, okay, can we end this segment? Because even I started feeling like I needed to put on my cardigan and kind of like reserve myself.
Between nipples falling off and this, it was a
banging.
SmackDown.
I don't know what's happening with SmackDown this week.
Banging. It's getting salacious. Okay, here we go. Ready? I am not happy about where this Bray Wyatt stuff is going, if it's going where I think it's going.
Ladies and gentlemen, I quit because she's finally on board with me. From the first time with the hashtags, I was like, this is off. There is something going on. I've said it.
QR codes.
Yeah, QR codes. Sorry, QR codes. Yeah. Hashtags. God, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. But yeah.
I felt like they did cool stuff at the beginning of this, but man. Okay, here's my first complaint.
They did this.
They did do this. And they're giving us such little pieces every week that I'm trying to leave room for it because I feel like I haven't seen a ton develop. Daphne. Oh my gosh, my dog is very clingy right now. Like, I've been trying to leave breathing room, but if it's going where I think it's going, I'm just like not thrilled because, okay, complaint number one, if you're giving us this like little of a segment, you got to stop with the 10-minute entrances. Like it makes the entrances feel less special. It's unwarranted. It feels like there's more effort into the entrance than there is to the segment. It shouldn't be longer than the segment. If he's just coming out to talk for like 5 minutes, you got to scrap these entrances because it takes away from it. And also, like, he's a creepy weirdo. You shouldn't always be able to predict the song that he's coming out to, that he's going to be carrying the light. Like, I think it's actually a more powerful device to just have him in the ring and the lights go on and people are like, holy crap.
Yeah.
But essentially what happens here is he comes out as the old Bray Wyatt. He's in his wicker rocking chair. He says that he's Uncle Howdy, and it was at this moment that I said, oh no, I think the pitch black match is going to be, at some point, it's going to be pitch black because there's going to be a costume change, and we're going to get like different personalities of Bray Wyatt, and the whole lighting gimmick is going to be to hide that, and I have no idea if there's a great way to pull that off. I think that he's capable of it if there is, but man, if this ends up with Bray Wyatt fighting himself, I'm gonna barf. I think that's terrible.
Oh God.
I think you can have him fighting his inner demons without fighting in the ring. And that feels way too close to fighting Shawn Michaels and God to me. I'm very nervous that this pitch black match is going to be poorly lit, Bray Wyatt changing costumes or personalities. Maybe this is where Bo Dallas comes in and he's fighting LA Knight. LA Knight is capable enough of a performer to pull off the other side of this too, I think, but this
another red cage match.
Stuck in the mud.
That's what it feels like.
I feel like they had this really big opportunity to prove that like you don't have to do this kind of stuff with Bray. And now it's like this guy, it makes it feel like he's not capable of just having a really great story in a regular wrestling match. And that bums me out a little bit.
I am very, very disconnected from the Bray Wyatt character. I don't know when it happened. I was excited. The QR hashtags pissed me off. And then like somewhere.
Then his actual comeback was so great.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, and the LA Knight stuff was so awesome in the beginning. Yeah. I think that we're just getting way too little of it every week.
I'm getting disconnected with it, and I just don't. I'm trying to like really again, and I said this before. I wanted to give it life. I'm going to let it breathe. I'm going to see where it's going to go. But it's just like I was watching the segment. I'm like, I don't feel anything right now. This is not evoking emotion. You're the eater of worlds. We've heard this forever. You did this with Randy when you did the match on the outside by his house. Remember that he set the house on fire? Like we've heard this before. You know, so where is this going? You know, it's just I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel bad because I love him as a performer, but this is just jumbled up. Like maybe this didn't work, so let's go back to Bray Wyatt in the rocking chair, and if that doesn't work, the Fiend comes out of nowhere. Like I don't understand. Like didn't they do a hashtag today? A QR code today. They didn't do a QR code today, and it was the Fiend in the video.
Oh God, maybe.
Yeah. I think Fightful on Instagram posted it, if I'm not mistaken.
It's very, very possible. Very possible. Yeah, this is a little bit of a bummer for me. I've been trying to leave room for it too. I truly think the solution, and they'll never do it, for part of this is they just need to take a couple weeks off from it. And they can't do that because he's such a big draw to every live audience that they don't want to not deliver on him. And he's not really wrestling. So,
but Kate, let me be honest here. You just mentioned it before. People are big draw for what? For a 10-minute entrance and a 5-second promo, and then he's gone. The lights are off. And
honestly, though, kind of yeah. Like for people that are into this stuff, though,
yeah.
Like this is still their pinnacle of that. Like people are still. I think people are still on the edge of their seat for it, but I'm struggling a little bit with. And maybe they have a masterful plan because I'll tell you what, the Firefly Funhouse match was really special. What he did with John Cena and that cinematic match was so cool. So maybe they pull it off, but right now it just feels stuck in the mud. And I'm very nervous about what a pitch black match means. Like, are we gonna have the lights go out 5 times and a new Bray Wyatt appears? Like, that's not for me. So. Jambier chiming in, saying that I loved all the White Rabbit stuff they did before his fantastic return, and every week after his first promo has gotten duller and duller. They waited too long to have him wrestle. That's a fair point. Is like if you're not gonna put him in the ring until then, like in a real way. I know he like worked a house show or whatever, but that makes it tough. And LA Knight is so good that it makes me want to see it. You know. Like, it makes me really, really want to see. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to see them kick each other's asses. And they were like, cool, we'll give that to you 10 weeks from now. And I'm like, yeah, that's not.
And he did say, we're coming. So I'm like thinking, oh, shit, does this mean that we're going to have, like, when he first came back, the characters in the crowd? You know, like, what is it that we're looking at here? Like,
If it's
How
like
is this?
him
Yeah.
and Alexa and 3 other wrestlers,
Yeah. Right.
I feel
Right.
like maybe I don't hate that as much as it's like him, the lights go out, whatever. Like, I don't know. We're gonna have to sit and wait and see. But right now, it's just a feeling. I don't have anything to go off of but that. But I'm like, you got to stop with the 10-minute entrances, and the stuff is just like not for me. It's not clicking. For me, it ain't clicking right now. I'll say that.
Finally
but
feeling how I've been feeling. I was happy for him to return. I knew a lot of stuff that was going on, and I was like, all right, cool. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, can we know who it is? Stop the QRs. We know it's him. Bring him in. I want to see him kill people. And then he hasn't. He hasn't yet.
He hasn't done anything. Yeah, like I think broken wheelchair taking longer to come than beer. Oh no,
God.
that's so funny.
Oh God, that is true.
Oh yeah, it's tough. And it's not that I haven't been feeling that way. I was just trying to leave room for it, and now that that space is starting to dwindle a bit. And it doesn't help that the rest of the show wasn't great. That always hurts too, where this is like sandwiched between Xia Li and Tegan Nox and Liv and Raquel, which unfortunately was definitely better than Tegan and Zaya, but not the best still. But we'll move along to that match. Raquel essentially says she doesn't think that tiny baby girl Liv can win from the one spot, and Liv slaps her. This is the most clicked into a character that Liv Morgan has ever felt to me as a solo competitor, and that I love. Again, I've said it a lot, so not to reiterate. I wish they knew this before her title reign. I think it would have been a little bit more productive, but I love seeing it. This is a match. Raquel wins with the Tahana Bomb. I don't love Raquel talking to a former champion like she's less than. We get a knee strike in here with a flying code breaker from Liv, which is always a fun spot. She's kind of messy, but with a style like this, that's kind of fine. But I get what they're trying to do, right? Like you have big, strong Raquel. They're obviously pushing her really hard. But like Liv's a former champion. You shouldn't be doubting her on that. But this was like exactly medium. I felt like. What were your thoughts?
I wish we're okay. Liv has done a good job with what she has turned herself into. I love it. She can handle her own and she can stand on her own 2 feet. I would love for Raquel now, right? For Raquel to have that opportunity to build her character and to build who she is and to get further in her progression. Because you have a big, strong, beautiful woman that can beat the living crap out of anyone. You see her; she's a strong individual, and I think that they need to pair her up, or with the right opponents, and really start, branding her. Like I always say this: there's not a lot of representation in the Latino culture with a lot of different places, right? Besides Rey, that's it.
Legado though too.
Legado, right. Yeah. We have them, but again, and I said this before, he's still not where a lot of other people are at. If you get what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So I'll do the same thing with Raquel. Raquel could be in a great ambassador for you for the Latin community. Bring in that culture in and build her because she's big, strong, beautiful, talented. She could talk on the mic, and she can speak both languages very, very clearly. So why not, right? So I'm hoping that they turn around and put a rocket on Raquel soon.
Yeah, I think they're headed that way, which is nice. So that's good. And I feel like she's looked better. Her match with Ronda I actually thought was pretty good. So that is good to see. She was looking kind of like iffy in ring wise, but I feel like part of it was she got to the main roster not that long ago, and it's been on her a lot to lead a lot of the matches rather than have kind of the breathing room that comes when working with ring generals when you first get up there. So I think Raquel versus Charlotte Flair, for example, would be probably a stronger match than Raquel versus Shotzi because you have someone to guide you along a little bit, which I think would be good. But we have Orion Ben chiming in saying, got in a brief Twitter spat about this, but tell me where I'm wrong. Orion Ben says, "Tell me where I'm telling lies, right? Where's the lie?" As Bobby Fish would say. I could see with WWE booking Liv costing herself the Rumble just to do a table spot. Oh, I like that. Okay. I mean, after the last 4 or 5 weeks of storytelling, can you blame me? I could see. I actually don't even mind that. I like her never say die attitude getting the best of her, taking her out of Rumble is totally fine if it sets up whoever she's going to be feuding with at Mania. Like, as long as that's not a wasted spot on something, that's totally fine. I don't think she's going to win Rumble. I feel like it's going to be Rhea Ripley. If not, it's probably like a Becky or I think it would be cool if it was Shayna, but I think that's going to be a tag thing. But yeah, I think that's a pretty cool spot if they execute it right.
Right,
if they
correct.
execute it right.
Yeah.
So I'm with you there. Oh, we got Kylie chiming in. Said Rampage was fun and Willow is the best. Hi, Kylie.
Hi, Kylie.
Rampage was fun and Willow is the best. It sounds like you might have maybe been there though, or maybe you just watched and are chiming in now. So that rules. Meet Norma saying, "Here's another sack of money for Alex's coffee table and Kate's bang."
Thank you so much for that.
They're expensive. They're expensive.
They are expensive.
Stop me out. You're so funny. Appreciate you. Mark Quill saying the Mountain Dew pitch black humper chat replied to the Mountain Dew pitch black Fightful Smackdown and Rampage post show sponsored by NordVPN and Manscaping, hosted by Kate and Alex Cardoza. I wish I could say that as fast as Excalibur. I'd be like bang, 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 you know? But
what is up with Mountain Dew? I mean, even that, man. We know it's a gimmicky match, but now you're throwing even more gimmicks on it by making it a Mountain Dew blackout match of blackouts. Sorry,
I don't know. No. I was just thinking of how our friend was having Jameson before, and that he might be in a blackout match of his own.
Oh.
A regular chat that popped our moderator Luis, so we'll read it because Luis rules. Said that Sonya, Ronda, and Shayna should start a faction called SRS.
Ooh.
I'm in. The only problem is that like SRS is a jobber, as we've seen. Like he just gets eliminated by Denise Salcedo in battle royals, so it's like not a
gimmick infringement.
That's so mean to do to Sean on a week where he has probably slept 12 minutes or whatever. But we move along. Speaking of SRS, to the Sonya and Adam Pearce segment, which I actually kind of liked. Sonya tells Adam Pearce, "Hey, I want a rematch." And Adam Pearce says, "Hey, you lost, you big loser. I can't just grant you a rematch for no reason. I like it when losses have consequences." And then Sonya is like, "Fine, I'll get one myself." And Sonya attacks Charlotte Flair backstage. That should probably do it. So I kind of dig that. She was like, "I was an authority figure. I tried to do it the right way, and then you denied me, so I'm going about it this way." I like Sonya. I want her to be a top heel. I want her to be wrestling on my SmackDown show. So I'm for this. Your thoughts on a Charlotte Flair Sonya rematch?
Pink Ranger Charlotte Flair backstage doing her thing.
Looks very like Lady Gaga or something. I really dug it.
Yeah. And anytime there is a backstage fight, there's always a ladder around and some metal pipes for some reason. Every time there's a backstage segment, there's metal pipes hitting the ground. I don't know what it is.
Of course.
But I thought it was all right. I mean, we'll see where it goes.
Backstage.
She needs opponents, so she's gonna kill Sonya. Unfortunately.
She is, but I think Sonya's a good dance partner for her for this.
Yes.
Because I feel like she's experienced enough and well positioned enough that it'll be, I think, a nice little thing to at least get us to Rumble. So I'm for that. And then we get a Cody Rhodes video. Alex, hey, did you know Cody Rhodes is coming back? Did you know he's working out in the gym? Did you know he injured himself? Cody Rhodes.
It is
Why can't you just let us be surprised, man?
Boring. They are so overproduced. They overproduce everything. And this is give me a tongue in cheek. Like you could bank on that or something, like I'm the boss, right? Like give me a tongue in cheek. Don't give me a full-on package because the minute he got injured, you put a camera crew in front of his face.
Well, So my hypothesis is they probably were doing a Cody Rhodes comeback documentary and then he got injured, and this is probably the injury piece of his comeback documentary. I just don't like that they have it on Raw and SmackDown, and
They got to get their money,
probably
hit their
level
money's worth.
up and
'Cause they
NXT
paid them a lot of money.
probably.
Yeah.
But
NXT.
like just do a I just want it to be we all know he's coming back at the Rumble, but let it be a surprise. Let it be a surprise.
You don't know he's winning it. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's
I'm
probably
sorry.
Cody and no. It's sometimes the predictable choice is the right choice, and I think with Rhea and Cody, that might be the case. That might be the case.
Save you some money, friends, or time.
There you go.
$4.99.
So we get to our main event, which was the only thing I was like, OMG, I love this on the show. But before we do that, Jan Beard says, to fake Alex's point about Raquel, I think two things need to happen to get her fully over on the main roster. First would be to embrace her culture like Thunder Rosa does. I think Thunder Rosa does feel very authentic with her representation on screen. Fair enough. For sure. Mm-hmm. For sure. I didn't see what the second one was, though. Was there a second one? TBD. So we move along to our main event. Luis, I'm wondering if that Impact chat was for the Impact stream? No? Yes, maybe? If it's a Humper chat? I don't know. But we get to an awesome, really special, really fun match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And
oh, yeah.
I don't mean to sound like Little Miss Pro Wrestling over sports entertainment or like I'm crapping on the rest of the product or whatever, but like when you see a match like this that reminds you it's an art form, that the crowd is chanting, "This is awesome," at. No piped in crowd noise for this, man. Like, it just felt like a big main event, huge fight feel to it. A whole bunch of fun. I loved KO taunting Sami to stomp him. The Swanton bomb with Sami getting the knees up to block. I think that was a callback to one of their NXT matches. Sami setting up for a Haluva kick. But of course, the Usos show up to stomp Owens in the corner. Sami sets Owens up on the top rope in this. Owens fighting back and hitting a second rope fisherman's buster was really, really fun in this.
More fishermen
all over the place tonight. Sami sets for a Haluva kick, but I'm sorry, I put that in my notes twice, but Sami with the Haluva kick, and the Usos show up to stomp Owens in the corner for the DQ, eventually putting Kevin Owens to the table. Here's what's cool about this. It's a rare time where the DQ finish, I think, was sincerely the right call, because my initial reaction to this is what I think worked about it for me. My initial reaction to this was, I was like, oh, this was such a great match. What the F? And then I looked at Sami Zayn's face, and his face said, what the F? And as soon as his acting chops kicked in, I was so perfectly sold on this. There is so much, and Alex Pulaski talked about this, and I loved the way he was phrasing it. So if you have Fightful Select, listen to him talk about it. But I was in lockstep with him on this. There's so much self-doubt in Sami's character that this was an emotional setback for Sami Zayn, as well as you see Sami Zayn saying, the Tribal Chief sent me to stop Kevin Owens. And the Usos are like, hey, we're here to have your back. That's what family's all about. And he's like, Sami Zayn is just kind of bewildered, and he's putting up the We the Ones. And the sincerity of Sami Zayn throughout all this stuff, man, is so damn good. But the Usos taking away a moment from Sami Zayn and interfering with the job he was supposed to do for Kevin Owens. Oh my God. Such good storytelling. And I loved the way that this moment happened, because I feel like at Royal Rumble, that's when the full turn happens. But this moment was so pivotal. And so it felt like a DQ wasn't being done for DQ's sake. It felt like DQ was being done because it was the right call for the story here. Sami and Kevin Owens, neither one of them has one up on each other, which I think is important because I think Kevin Owens is going to lose to Roman Reigns, right?
Yep.
And there's going to be probably a Kevin Owens beatdown.
Yep.
This is what Pulowski booked, and I love it, and I think it might be the way to go. So hear me out. Roman Reigns beats Kevin Owens. There's interference. There's a post-match beatdown on Kevin Owens, and it's relentless. And Sami Zayn's supposed to get in on it, but it's just so brutal. Sami Zayn can't do it. And then because Sami Zayn can't do it, they turn and they attack him. And Alex said, you have a battered Kevin Owens in the ring and a battered Sami Zayn in the ring. And then Kevin Owens just, with the little energy he has left, reaches over and puts his hand on Sami. And then your tag program is off and running. You probably have Sami Zayn versus Roman at Elimination Chamber in Montreal. And then at Mania, they dethrone the Usos. Chef's kiss. Ugh. It's perfect. It's perfect. I hope they lean in that direction. But tonight was just like the amount of, I don't want to say pressure on Sami Zayn, but the importance of Sami Zayn's ability to deliver in these is just so good. Like, I don't like DQ finishes. This one I was so bought in on. It felt so perfect because it didn't feel like a DQ for DQ's sake. Absolutely adored what we went home on tonight. And I'm going to be just a mess. I'm going to be crying when the bloodline turns on Sami Zayn. I know it because Sami Zayn is so pitch perfect in all this. And we got such a great match before. Like, I hate when DQ finishes happen. I hate them more when they interrupt extremely good matches. Great matches in this case. But I was supposed to. And Sami Zayn was pissed that this is how this ended. Like, that's what's important to me. What did you think about this match and what we went home on?
Yeah, it's man, it seems like it's been a train that's been rolling, two trains rolling towards each other, waiting to see what's about to happen. And we know their story, we know who they are. And I think that's what makes it more exciting. Because of the friendship. I mean, the years of them, going after each other in the indies and now here professionally together. It's just what happens when it happens is going to be so impactful. The crowd is going to go insane. People at home will be tweeting, TikToking, whatever it is, all over the place. This might be the best segment and best storyline for WWE right now that will continue moving, right? You've had this long bloodline storyline with Sami being an ordinary Uso. Now he's going to get thrown out. Sooner than later it's going to happen, right? So, I mean, God, did they ever milk the golden cow? Because this is just pouring out nothing but great television for WWE right now.
And I think, like, man, Sami Zayn had a match with Johnny Knoxville at Mania. And, like,
Think about that, yeah.
Think about Sami Zayn now dethroning the tag team champs with his, like, a sincere real life friend and someone he's had 20 years of experience with in pro wrestling at Mania. Like, what
People
a
are gonna
special
cry.
job. I'm going to be a mess.
The emotion is there. People cry at movies. People cry at soap operas.
This was art.
This is no different. So the emotion is there and people are going to feel it. And I think it's going to make for great television. And then Cody's going to come in and win every belt.
Don't do that. So I think a Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn tag run could be really, really special. So I do hope we get that. This was a really, really fun way to go home. I rarely like DQ finishes, but this one, because one of the characters that was in it hated it, like one of the performers, I should say, is like the fact that he was so thrown off and his emotion after, just perfect.
Yeah.
Just perfect. Fun night of wrestling, Alex. Really, like, I loved most of Rampage. I really loved the main event. I, of course, loved Eddie Kingston and Malachi Black. And while the beginning of this SmackDown wasn't my favorite, what it went home on is one of my favorite storylines of wrestling. So I'll take it after a very, very chaotic week. And you can read more about that chaos on Fightful Select. Jam Beard with a last minute humper chat or super chat here saying, Kate, to add to Alex's booking idea, on the final SmackDown before Rumble, you have KO and Roman brawling in a corner, and Sami goes to hit KO with a haluva kick, but misses and hits Roman instead. Oh, man. That could be really fun. That could be really fun. I kind of don't want Roman. I know they already had matches. I kind of don't know if I want Roman and KO to touch until they get to that point, though. But I don't hate that idea. I would not be mad at it. I would not be mad at it at all. And I'm never mad. Oh, we got more chats. Oh, the second half of the Raquel chat came in saying that Raquel would be to have a takeover level match on a pay-per-view or main event like she had in NXT. Yeah, there needs to be an exceptional Raquel showing, I think. I think her match with Ronda was both of their best work, but like a really, really strong Raquel match would be extremely beneficial.
Yeah.
We've got Jam Beard saying, okay, by the way, have you and Alex done the stream to catch up on all the chats on Tuesday? We're going to do a separate Jukeboxes stream, I think, over the weekend. It's been a crazy week. Please bear with us. But we did a 4-hour Tuesday stream and hardly any of it was about NXT. So we didn't get to our usual silliness, but we will get to our usual silliness. We'll either probably open up with it on Tuesday or add it to Tuesdays. But I'm hoping we do just like a separate mini stream to get all of those together. But, Alex, other than in your new beautiful home that's awaiting $30,000 worth of furniture, where can the good people find you?
Very easy. You can go to Instagram, find me on there, Alexis Cardoza, or on Twitter, _Alexis Cardoza. I have one last thing to say before I got out of here.
Yeah, hell yeah.
We got some business to take care of. Did not like the way MJF treated my host. Freddie Prinze Jr. calling him a Scooby-Dooby douchebag. So we're going to take care of business this week. We're going to take care of business.
I mean, it's the risk you run. You're sitting there, you're getting a spotlight. Yeah. MJF's got a mic. You just never know. It's just,
Freddie Chance in 2023 in an arena.
Catching shrapnel, just from MJF promos over there.
Yeah.
So
yeah. We're going to take care of this. But thank you, everyone, for supporting me and us and here and everything. Yeah, thank you, Kate, for, again, another awesome Friday.
Yeah, this was a blast. Always love getting to have you around. And you can find me at Miss Kate Faith on Twitter and TikTok. I've been doing some TikTok lives that have been fun. Just not about anything. Just going live there. Kind of pre and post shows a little bit, or post shows in some cases. Just hanging out, talking wrestling, talking dogs, talking whatever. Maybe I'll do that now. That could be fun. And you can find me on Instagram at Katestagrams. Find the Grapsity Boys back here tomorrow morning. So check that out. Sure, there's more wrestling chaos to come next week. But thank you so much for joining us. Have a safe and happy weekend.